Okay, let's take a look at our agenda. Can you all see the slideshow?
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Okay, so today we're going to take a quick look at some Valentine's Day trivia and see what you know. And then we're going to practice the word fair. Now, as you know, some words in English have multiple meanings, even though they're spelled the same way. So in our current module, fare is a particular type of food. It's not the money you pay for a bus ticket or a ferry ticket. It's actually a particular kind of food. I think the words that sound the same with different meanings, I think they're called homophones. I think that's what they're called. I'll have to look that up. But at any rate, fare is one of those words, sort of like the word fly. The word fly can be like the verb to fly in the air, or a fly, like a fly on the wall. So fare is one of those words. When you go to write your sentences, make sure you use the definition that we're using in the module. Okay, we are also going to take a look at the past tense review. Last class, we didn't really have a lot of time to go over the word wall cards, and there was still kind of a little bit of fuzziness with respect to the past perfect and the past perfect continuous. So we're going to take another quick look at that. There is a student whose discussion post I wanted to highlight because it kind of brings up the travel blogs. So your travel blogs in this module, you will write your first travel blog post. And I wanted to go over how to do that and what you can use to, and your organizers, and how you should use your organizer to actually write your posts. And that's important because I've already seen 2 people have submitted their first travel blog post, and I had to send both of them back to check their organizer. That organizer will help you stay really focused and organized while we take this trip. All right, so let's get started with Valentine's Day trivia. See what you know about the origins of Valentine's Day. All right, do you all see it's kind of like an orangish page, Valentine's Day trivia?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's take a look at the first question. Do you need me to enlarge it?
No, it's okay.
Okay. So question number 1 asks, Valentine's Day evolved from what ancient Roman festival?
Valentina.
That's the one I would think, because it makes sense, right?
Lupercalia.
Oops,
Oh,
oops, oops, oops,
no.
oops, oops. Uh-oh, somebody said Lupercalia, right?
Yeah.
Very good.
Wow.
A fertility celebration commemorated annually on February 15th. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay, well, there you go. Who knew? Okay, let's go for number 2.
For herself.
Yes.
Herself? You think herself?
Yeah.
Okay, I personally don't think it's herself, but let's take a look. Oh, I was going to say her children. Oh, well, no, I guess you wouldn't buy your children flowers. You'd buy them like a little gift or something. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, well, huh. Who knew?
Why myself?
I think for her mother, but no.
I would have thought mother as well. Yeah, I would have thought mother as well. I wouldn't have thought herself, but there you go.
Yes.
Wow.
A lot.
Millions.
I think 2 billion.
Okay, let's check.
Oh no.
1 billion.
There you go, 1 billion
Yeah.
worldwide. Does anyone know what's the population of the United States? I don't even know.
300 millions?
Is it?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
331, well, 332 million. Okay. So how many were sent?
2
1
billion.
billion.
1
wow.
billion. Okay. Huh, that doesn't seem like Well, yeah, it does. If the whole population of the US is only 332 million, then that is a lot. That's a lot. Okay.
Oh, a teacher, but is the car the physical car or the digital cars? It's the
Oh,
general.
well, this is the Greeting Card Association. So I would assume that it means physical cards, but I could be wrong.
Mm.
Yeah, and I did yesterday 50 cards for classmates of my kids.
Oh, that's right. That is
Yeah.
absolute. I remember that when my kids were little, you write those little cards
Yeah.
and you want to give it to every single person in the class because you don't want to have that one little kid who might not get a card. So I remember that. Yeah. So that's a lot.
Yeah, but now I tend to send the e-card. I don't send the physical cards.
Sometimes if I don't think about something until the last minute, I'll send an e-card, but I really like personally the idea of sending a physical card. I love the idea of someone sort of unwrapping it from the envelope like a gift. I don't know, I just love that. But yeah, sometimes I'll just use the e-cards. All right, Saint Valentine was put to death at the order of what Roman emperor?
Claudius two. Claudius two, right?
Claudius II?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit it, although personally I don't think so.
Augusto.
Pardon me?
August.
Augustus the second?
Yes,
Let's try
yeah.
Claudius the second. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
I didn't think
oh.
so. I was thinking Tiberius. Valentine's Day was intended to honor a priest who attracted the displeasure of the Roman Emperor Claudius II around 270.
Mira.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's the third century, right?
So, because Claudius felt like married men made worse soldiers, he forbade them to marry if they were in the army, and then Valentine thought that that was unjust. Huh. Okay.
Venus?
I was thinking Venus as
Venus.
well, but as you know, I've been wrong on every single question so far. Yay!
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
39.
Okay, let's try it.
56.
I
39.
was gonna hit
Yeah,
I was gonna hit 56, but who knows? Let's try. Oops.
72.
Ah!
my god.
I am so surprised, aren't you?
Yes.
I had no idea. Wow, I wonder why. Why do you suppose that is? Oh, I wonder if it's because a lot of moms buy it for their kids and the kids' classmates.
Yeah, that makes
Yes, I think so. And maybe some women send it to friends, like woman friends.
Yeah, I
To
kind of
make
like,
him not alone, not feel alone.
yeah, I like the idea of Valentine's celebrating everyone you love, not just romantic love, but you know,
Yeah.
celebrating your kids. I love that. When my kids were little, I used to get them little things for Valentine's Day. The British Museum holds a letter believed to be the oldest Valentine still in existence. Who wrote it? Wow.
Mark Antony.
Mark Antony, maybe.
I doubt it, because he was like ancient
Mark.
Rome.
Oh no.
Jeffrey Chaucer.
Chaucer. I was gonna go with Geoffrey Chaucer. Whoops, nope.
Charlie. Charlie.
Charles
Charles
Orleans.
d'Orleans. Ooh, I thought that would probably be a French guy. So, oh, but he was captured by the English at Agincourt. Oh, okay. Who knew? All right.
14. 94%.
94.
You're gonna go with 94?
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
86? No.
78.
why?
Just have
69
pink,
are red, 6 are
pink,
pink,
yellow.
6% are peach salmon, 5% are yellow, 4 white, and 7 mixed colors, and 4 other. Oh, I thought it would be a higher percentage, but okay.
ASP unfit patterns.
Any
I think
thoughts?
arms dealers.
Idea.
Arms dealers?
Yeah.
Arm dealers.
Let's
I
give it a
think
try.
so.
I doubt it.
Beekeepers.
I was thinking beekeepers. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Huh.
Okay. Okay, last question. Who created the first Valentine's Day box of chocolates?
Hersey, Milton Hersey.
Hershey? Let's give it a try.
Maybe.
Louis,
Louis
With the fourth.
Louis IV?
Louis,
Louis the Fourth?
Milton Hershey.
Last,
Oh, I think we tried Hershey already, didn't we?
Richard.
yeah,
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we
Russell
last,
Stover.
last,
Rosa, I'm gonna try this one. No.
Milton Hershey. Oh, yeah.
Wow. You know what? We didn't do so well, but that's okay. All right,
So-
and there's your Valentine's Day trivia.
yes, very, very new knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know most of that stuff, so there you
Yeah.
go. All
Teacher,
right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I see the Valentine's Day that there is maybe a river in the northern California dying into the blue, maybe dying into ring. When I went to the store, I see the many things that dyed into green colors.
They're dyed spring colors.
Yeah, green.
Green.
Yeah, green colors. I don't know.
Oh, are you okay? Now, if I understand correctly, you're asking about a river that is being dyed green.
Yeah.
Okay, now that I know that it is immediately associated with St. Patrick's Day in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh,
So have you, yeah, it's
Okay.
St. Patrick's Day. So Chicago had a lot of Irish immigrants, as does New York City. And so every St. Patrick's Day, it's a huge celebration, especially on the East Coast. Not so much on the West Coast, but especially on the East Coast, because there are so many Irish settlers. And so the river that runs through the heart of Chicago, and I don't remember the river's name, is dyed green, and it's quite a sight. We probably will have a St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, because I think they sell everything at the same time. I think. Oh, St.
Yeah,
Patrick.
so there it is. It's dyed green for St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I have no idea how much dye they use for that. I have no idea. Maybe, in March that is when St. Patrick's Day occurs. Maybe I can find some St. Patrick's Day trivia and we can find some of these answers. All right. Are you ready to review some past tense?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. First, I'm going to bring up just a 2.5-minute video that I hope kind of explains the difference between the past perfect and the past perfect progressive.
It doesn't take much. Helping the ASPCA give an
Welcome to English Grammar Spot. This tutorial is about the past perfect and the past perfect.
Can you hear it?
Yes.
Yes,
Do
teacher.
you need me to slow the speed down? Is the person talking too fast?
No, it's
No.
okay.
Okay.
Continuous. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to form and when to use a past perfect and how to form and when to use a past perfect continuous. Now let's get started. Take a look at these sentences. I had worked before I ate my breakfast. I had been working before I ate my breakfast. The first sentence is in the past perfect.
I want to stop her here. I don't understand why there's a comma in that sentence. That doesn't appear correct to me. Now, clearly the person speaking in this video is, I think she's British.
Yeah.
I don't know if there might be slightly different grammar rules between the different countries. I am not certain. But when I look at those sentences, I take a look and I don't see why they require a comma. I think they do not. I would omit it personally. That I don't think that's correct. But I've got to look that up, and I'm going to make a notation here to look that up when we're done to see if British English uses comma slightly differently than American English. That would be interesting.
Yes. We can use the comma if you change the order of the sentence. Yeah.
Like a
Yeah, right.
fanboy.
Before I ate my breakfast, comma, I had
Yeah.
worked because
Yes.
the dependent clause is before I ate my breakfast. But when the dependent clause comes at the end of the sentence, as it does here, no comma is necessary. At least in American English, I know that's the rule. Have you all seen that rule before?
No.
So when the
I'm not
dependent
sure.
clause is at the front of the sentence, you need a comma. So if the sentence was written like this, before I ate my breakfast, comma, I had worked, then you'd need a comma. But if the dependent clause comes at the end of the sentence, no comma is needed. But let me go ahead and look it up after class today, and I will share what I find. I believe this might be a little bit of an error, and that's okay. That's not really why we're watching this, but
Perfect tense. The second sentence is in the past perfect continuous tense. Let's have a look in how to make a past perfect. We can make a past perfect for the regular verbs by using the auxiliary verb to have, but then the past simple form, which is had, and the past participle. Remember, we can make a past participle by adding ed to the base form of the verb. For example, I had walked the dog.
I'm just going to pause her here for a moment just to remind you all that like past tense verbs, many verbs are irregular in the past participle.
For the irregular verbs, we also use had and a past participle, but here the past participle has a different form. She had driven my car. The infinitive form of the verb is to drive. A past perfect continuous is made by the auxiliary verb to have and then the past simple form, which is had, the past participle of the verb to be, which is been, the base form of the verb, and ing. For example, I had been walking the dog and she had been driving my car. Now let's have a look at the difference between the two. We use a past perfect for a thing, which can either be an activity or a state, which started in the past before something else in the past. So we have two things happening in the past, but one before the other. For example, he had talked on the phone before he started cooking. Or, I had broken my leg before I broke my arm. A past perfect continuous is...
Okay, so in other words, when do we use the past perfect?
To emphasize effect.
And certainly when we want to notate that two actions occurred in the past, one action occurred before another action in the past. What occurs first, the verb in the past perfect or the verb in the simple past?
Past perfect.
Simple
That the past perfect. Past perfect occurs first, simple past occurs second. So for example, he had talked on the phone before he started cooking dinner. So in other words, the phone call came before he began to cook. Now it could be that the verbs occur in different locations in the sentence. You could start it like this: before he started cooking dinner, comma, he had talked on the phone. Now that doesn't change the actual order of events. It's just that one verb appears before the other in the sentence. All right, sorry to interrupt. So back to the past perfect continuous, also known as the past perfect progressive. An activity started in the past before something else in the past.
is used for an activity started in the past before something else in the past, so only with activities. For example, I had been talking to him before I send that email.
Now, did you notice the emphasis here is on active verbs? So stative verbs wouldn't be used in this tense. An activity, something that you actually physically do.
Please note that we cannot use the verb to break here. I thank you for your attention. For regular updates, please.
That was kind of odd, that little piece of information that you can't use the verb to break. And I guess it's because, I mean, that makes sense. I wouldn't say I had been breaking the vase when my husband arrived. I mean, because why would anybody break something intentionally? So I think that's probably why she mentioned that. But I found that a little random. That was just kind of odd. Okay, now on Monday, we took a look at some word wall cards, and the problem was we didn't have enough time to go over any of that because I got you into the breakout rooms a little late. So let's take a look at some of these questions, and we'll see if you can answer them.
Past, simple past.
Simple past, or you could also use the simple present if you wanted to. Can you all see this clearly?
Yes.
Yes.
What verb tense do you use?
Past continuous.
Past.
Past
Past perfect.
Okay, now notice the question. What verb tense do you use for the action that interrupts another action in the past?
Past simple.
Past perfect.
Past simple.
Past
simple.
perfect.
Okay, it's actually the simple past. Now remember, the sentence would go something like this. We were walking home, so we were in the middle of this action when it started to rain. Notice the interrupting verb is in the simple past, started.
Past continuous.
The past continuous is used for the longer action. The action that interrupts the longer action is the simple past.
Simple past.
Let me see if I can think of another example. We were watching TV when the phone rang. So watching TV was interrupted by the phone. Notice that phone rang is in the simple past. So this is asking you to put together a sentence using two past continuous actions and the word while. Anybody want to take a try?
Past perfect.
From into past continuous actions.
Right here.
May
Past
Sure,
continuous.
sure. Whoever said, may I? Please go for it.
I was swimming while my friend was surfing.
Exactly. I was swimming while my friend was surfing. Two parallel activities in the past. Anybody else want to give it a try?
I am cooking.
Oh, I hear a little one.
Yeah, it's my one. Sorry.
Who said it's mine?
Anita.
Anita, that's your little one?
Yeah, it's my little
How old
one.
is your
You
little one?
want to see my little one?
Yeah, I'd love to see the baby.
Yeah. Say hi.
Um,
Say hi to all.
yeah.
Say hi.
Oh, I
Hi.
can't see. Let me stop share screen for a moment. I want to see everybody. Oh, hello.
Hello. Say hello.
There.
So cute.
Hi. I envy people who still have their kids at home so much. It's so unfair because they grow so fast. Okay, anybody else want to give it a try?
Yes.
Okay.
I was cooking while my husband was gardening.
Very good. I was cooking while my husband was gardening.
What tense do you use when to back?
And you use one, two,
Continuous.
Past continuous.
Past continuous.
Past continuous.
The two former sentences were examples of that. I was cooking while my husband was gardening. Two parallel actions at the same time in the past.
What can you use to narrative?
Now remember, adding detail. It's slightly different than simply telling the story.
Narrative means is negative sentences or
A narrative is simply like a story.
story. Okay.
It's a story that talks about something, could be fictional or true, that happened or is happening. And we saw this on Monday. We saw to add detail to a story.
It's simple past.
Do you want me to give you an example?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I remember. Yeah,
Uh,
it was raining.
exactly. It was raining when the window blew open. So to add detail to a narrative, you often use the past continuous. She was screaming when the monster emerged from the forest, for example.
When I was working, my boss called me.
Perfect. When I was working, my boss called me. Perfect. What happened first? Or yeah, what action occurred over a longer time?
Working.
Was working. And then what action interrupted?
Calling.
Boss
Call, the call. And what tense is the verb that interrupt?
Simple past.
Simple past. Very good. Yep.
Use the words in parentheses.
For example,
when I walked,
when I was young,
when I was walking into the room. Oh no.
When
I walked into the room, everyone was working.
Okay.
when I was
these are, it looks like these are two parallel activities in the past.
When I was
when I was
When I was walking into the room,
into the room,
everyone was working. Two parallel events at the same time.
Simple past.
Simple past. Can you give me an example of a sentence?
I had an exam last night.
Oh, who said something about last night?
Me. I had an exam last night.
Perfect. I had an exam last night. Perfect. Oh, we already did. I think Alec came up with a sentence. While I was swimming, she was surfing, or something like that. We already got that one.
What did you do?
What were you doing?
What did you do? What did you do last night? You was
Yeah, this could actually go one of two ways. We could say, what did you do last night at 10 p.m.? You were so noisy. Or, what were you doing last night at 10 p.m.? You were being so noisy. In either case, the sentence is correct. Now, what were you doing? You were being so noisy places a little bit more emphasis on the actual activity, but both sentences are completely correct. In other words, you could use the simple past tense or the past continuous.
Simple past.
Simple past. If the event is completed, you use the simple past. I drove home yesterday at 5 o'clock. Simple past.
When we were playing tennis. We were playing tennis when George were hurting his ankle.
Very good. We were playing tennis when John hurt his ankle. What activity occurred over the longer period of time?
Playing tennis.
Playing tennis. Playing tennis.
Present
Past perfect.
perfect.
past continuous.
Yeah, remember
Present
like you've got a
perfect.
longer action and it's interrupted by something else. The longer action is in the past continuous. We were playing tennis when John hurt his ankle. The tennis game was interrupted by the hurt ankle.
Perfect continuum.
The past continuous. We were playing. You could also say we had been playing tennis when John hurt his ankle. Yes, you could. They're both correct. Okay, so how do you feel about those past tenses? Easy, difficult, or so-so?
So.
So-so.
So for me.
Would you like to test yourself on it a little bit?
Yes.
Let's go ahead and oh no, I forgot to record, didn't I? Am I recording?
Yes.
Oh, yes, I am. Oh,
It's
thank
funny.
goodness. Yes, I am. Thank goodness. I forget a lot. So, all right. So let's go ahead and let me pause the recording for a moment. Okay, let's go on up and take a look at our form. We'll take a look at some of the answers, and then we'll take a look at, and then we'll kind of try to complete the form as a group. First, the first question I have is, did anyone get 100%?
Yes.
Wow, that's really good. Now, if you missed one or two because, for example, you typed an extra space, or you had an uppercase letter, or you misspelled something, that's not really the point. If the verb tense was correct, consider your answer correct. Now, let's go on up and take a look. First of all, we'll take a look at our responses. Okay, so we had ooh, looks like a lot of students missed. Now, if you missed, was it because you misspelled something, or if you missed it, was it because of some other problem, like an extra space or a capital letter? No. Okay. Well, let's take a look at our response. Let's go over, let's do it together and see what we come up with. We were all happy because we
And handed.
in our homework on time.
Now, why do you suppose it's past perfect?
Because we happy is the past tense, and the action before it is we handed our homework.
Yeah, you sort of see a result. They were happy. Why? Because they had handed, not because they were handing or had been handing in, but because they had handed. So let's go to number 2.
Had been resting.
Why? You're correct. Why?
Because the results of the action I think.
Now, do you think when you read this sentence, we saw that they now if you notice that the pardon me?
Excuse me.
Oh.
Estela.
Estela?
Has been resting because it's a church time.
Yes, and notice that they must still be resting, because otherwise how would these people have known they were resting? So they had to be still in the action of resting when this other group came upon them.
Yes.
All right, let's go down to number 3.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Sure.
And why it's not we said that they were resting for over
Well,
20
notice that it's past perfect versus past perfect continuous. Now, you could use were resting in that example. You absolutely could. This test was a little bit more about past perfect versus past perfect continuous, but you are absolutely correct. You could say, when we got there, we saw that they were no. It has to be had been resting, because notice the time expression, for over 20 minutes. So it has to be the past perfect continuous. When we got there, we saw that they were resting for over 20 minutes. No, because if it's still going on, it's not a completed action, so had been resting.
Okay.
Okay, how about number 3?
We had practiced.
Had been
practiced.
practicing.
Had been
the phrase,
practicing.
phrase. Yeah.
Because like ongoing for them.
Good. And notice too, so you can imagine we were very tired. So in other words, I get the impression in this sentence that the people are trying to emphasize the action of dancing and their actual physical movement. So I think in this case, you would reach for the past perfect continuous.
Has by the time.
Had started.
Has started.
Good. Had started. Why? You're correct.
by the time.
Good, by the time. And by the way, there should be a comma in this sentence. Where should it be?
By the time, comma.
By the time I
no,
got
no,
to
no,
school,
no, no. Well,
comma, because it's a dependent
lesson.
clause. So I apologize for the error there.
Listen.
Okay.
Teacher?
Uh-huh.
Could I ask a question about
Of course.
previous sentence? Yeah, I had a mistake in this sentence, and I just typed that lesson had been starting because it still continues by this.
Starting. Oh, okay. I understand what you mean.
Mhm.
But the actual start time is something that happens quickly. So you could say by the time I got to school, the professor had been lecturing or something like that. But the actual start of the lesson is something that's quite pinpointable. For example, our lesson today started at 12:30, and that's a very definite time frame.
I see. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to number 5.
I have been only washing.
Why? Why had been washing?
Cause like still washing.
It sounds like she was interrupted in the
Ongoing.
act, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like this person was interrupted in the act by the arrival of her friends. And remember that the action that is interrupted is in the past perfect continuous.
Yeah.
He had heard.
You're correct. Why?
Because the action happened before an action.
Before that little time frame before tells you this happened first and then this happened.
We have been walking for an hour when we finally arrived at the remote village.
Why would we use the past perfect continuous here?
Because a continuous action in the past and was interrupted by an past action, another past action.
Not so much. I wouldn't say that quite so much. I would say more, notice this, we finally arrived. The emphasis here is clearly on the action of walking, and it makes you feel like these people were really tired. So when you want to emphasize the action, you reach for the past perfect continuous. I think someone mentioned the process. When you want to emphasize the process, the walking, rather than the result, arriving at the village. Okay, let's take a look at number 8.
She had been playing.
What am I doing? Why had been playing? Whoops.
Because she's so tired. An action.
I think so. I think they're definitely emphasizing the action.
That have been finishing the long.
I think this is an erroneous sentence. Let me think about this for a moment. Oh, no. Okay. I know what it is. Can you repeat, anybody? What was the answer?
I think that had been finishing.
Had finished or had been finishing?
Had finished.
Had finished.
Why had finished? You're right. Why?
After that, like
after, exactly.
After.
One occurred first and the other occurred second. And I hope you all got this one right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Got to be this one, right? Let's try. Let's see how we did.
Teachers, I have a lot of mistake because I use past continuous instead of past perfect continuous.
Oh, by the way, we only got this one wrong because I forgot to type in the word only here. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So if you all did that as well, that's okay. Yeah, I forgot to type in the word only, and that's why it's wrong, but not because of the tense. And if you did that, then give yourself credit for it, because really what I'm concerned about here is the tense, not if your typing is perfect. But we got all the rest of them correct. Now, how do you feel about the differences between the past perfect continuous and the past perfect? Do you feel easy, difficult, or still so-so?
A little.
So for me, teacher.
Do you feel a little more comfortable with it than you did on Monday?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good,
Yes.
good. Okay, I hope so. That was the point. That was the point of today's lesson. Okay, now this is what I'd like to do now is go on back up, and there seems to be a little bit of confusion over some of the assignments that we're working on currently. Let me take us back to our agenda here. Okay. During the next few units, during the next 4 units, you'll be working on travel blog posts. And prior to your travel blog post, you're doing what is called an organizer. Do you all see our Canvas homepage?
Yes.
Okay. As you know, we are currently in Module 3. Well, in Module 2, Assignment 2.4 was to write a travel blog organizer. And this is an example. So you need to identify 4 major states, regions, provinces, or cities that you're going to visit, and then in each one of those states, regions, or province, you have to find at least 3 different locales to visit. And you kind of want to change up your trip a bit, because pretend you're planning an itinerary to go to a country that you've never been before. You'll probably want to do a little bit of everything. You'll want to do some sightseeing in nature. You'll want to see some beautiful architecture. You're going to want to learn about the culture, so you might want to visit some museums. And of course, you want to eat delicious food. So that's kind of what you're aiming for with this travel blog organizer. Notice also that it's in note form. You don't have to write out complete sentences. That's what your travel blog is for. Now, these travel blogs, this type of writing that we're emphasizing for our first half of this advanced grammar course, is sort of like informal invitational writing. In the second half of the course, you will be writing a formal essay, something that you might have to complete, say, for college or something like that. But in the first half, I wanted to do sort of invitational writing, because that is the type of writing that you see most often in podcasts, on websites, and in blogs and things like that. It's also much more common now in things like magazine articles, and certainly on social media. Okay, so these little organizers are very important. And prior to each post that you write, you're going to need to return to this organizer to remember where you're taking me in each site. What's been happening is students are completing their travel blog posts, but they're forgetting to review their organizer first. And so they're sort of getting off task a little bit. This will help you stay on task with writing. And before you try to write any significant paper, blog, whatever, you want to organize your thoughts and keep them organized. It makes the writing go much more smoothly. So if you haven't already finished this organizer, take a little bit of time in the next, today or tomorrow, one of these days real soon, and go ahead and complete this organizer. And remember to take us places that you are also interested in, that you really love, because you're going to be writing about it. You're going to be spending some time here. So if you love these locations, it's going to come through in your writing. Now, what do I mean by a travel blog? What do they look like? I'm going to show you an example from a student I had a few semesters ago. And this was her first post. And she took us on a trip through Mexico. She started in Tulancingo, Hidalgo. So notice that first she brings us to a railroad museum, and she's included some pictures here, and she's got her vocabulary words highlighted, because in each post you'll use vocabulary words from the module. And then she takes us to a museum, and notice that she takes us out to eat. Now, this is really important, because Who doesn't love getting a taste of somebody else's culture? And there are certain cultures, Mexico, for example, that is renowned for its cuisine. Everybody has heard of Mexican food. You can find Mexican restaurants in India. You can find them everywhere because it's renowned for its cuisine. But just make sure that you take us and you show us some tasty things like this person has on her slide. So then we're going to go to another museum here, the Museum of Saint Enmascarado. I don't know how you would say that in English. And then finally at this locale, she's taking us to a cathedral.
teacher, yes, es de El Santo Enmascarado.
Oh, pardon me? What is it?
El Santo Enmascarado.
Enmascarado.
Es el
Okay,
santo, era
Santo
luchador.
Enmascarado. Well, I know Santo is saint in English, but I don't know. Enmascarado is simply a name, right?
No,
Es
the mask.
the mask for face.
Oh, it's masked. It's the masked saint. Got it.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. The Museum of the Masked Saint. Thank you so much. Yeah, got it. Okay, so notice that this student took us to a couple of cultural places so we could learn about some history. This student also took us to a restaurant. And then we also get to see some architecture. So that's kind of what you want to do. I read one of the students in this class, the travel blog is going to be doing a whole bunch of adventures. We're going to go whitewater rafting. We're going to in addition to visit like cultural places like museums and things, we've also got some adventure planned. Things like that. That's what we're looking for in a really fun trip. So pretend that you're planning a trip to the native country that you lived in for so many years, and you want to plan a really good fun trip for somebody. Think about that person as you plan the trip, and then make really specific recommendations. So if you take us to a restaurant, tell us what we should order. What should we try? What's really good? And if you take us to a park, why did you take us to this particular park? What is it about this park that's so special that we should make time for it on our travel itinerary? That's kind of what I'm looking for. And then prior to writing each post, and you'll notice that you're going to write your first post in module 3. So you only have to write a few slides. And did you notice that her slides, the student's slides that I just showed you? Let me go back to my drive here and pull that up again. Okay, I'm going to stop share for just a moment. Sorry about this. I am going to, let me just pull it back up again real quick. Sorry about that. I'm going to share my screen once again. Okay, now notice there's not a lot of writing on each slide. There's only like 1 or 2 sentences on each slide, and that's perfect. But notice this student did include a lot of pictures, which makes the slides fun to go through. And it also gives me a very solid picture in my mind of what we'll be doing at this particular place in this particular trip. So it's not that you have to do a ton of writing. This was her first post. So this was one major city in Mexico that she took us to. And these were the 4 different locales in that location that she brought us to. Oh, and she brought us to Cerro del Tezontle. So the hill of Tezontle. So we've got a little bit of nature, we've got a little bit of architecture, we've got a little bit of culture, all of those things. And that's kind of what, you might want to think about when you're planning a trip for us. And like I said, you don't have to do a lot of writing here. In this slide, for example, there's 2 sentences. That's it. So it's not that there's a ton of writing involved, but you do want to kind of, you just want to kind of explain why you're taking us there and what's special about that location. Okay, now what was my next point? Oh, I wanted to feature a star student, and that is Denise. Are you here, Denise? I don't see her. Okay. I think it's fine if I share this.
Yes, I am, but I'm probably driving soon, so.
Oh, okay. How do you pronounce your name?
You pronounce it correctly.
I
Dennis.
did. Oh, good,
Yeah,
good.
Dennis. Yeah.
Dennis. Okay.
Yeah.
Dennis, I'm going to feature your discussion post. Is that okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I think it's Dennis's. Yes, yeah, here it is. Okay. Now this is really cool because these are great traveling tips. I'm just gonna ask a random student to read it. Can you all see the screen? Is it large enough to read?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna ask Liz, could you start reading where it says, "Hello all, my name is Dennis. I'm from China."
Sure. Hello all, my name is Dennis. I'm from China. My native language are Cantonese and Mandarin Chinese. My hobby is traveling. My previous career was a tour operator. How to call those?
Thus.
Thus. I might have some life hacks on trip planning.
Good. I'm going to pause you here. Does anyone know what that word life hacks means? It's a great word to use in this type of informal writing.
Yeah, it's like special tips.
Very good. Very good. It's like a special tip. It's like a special tip to kind of, master something a little bit better. Now I'm going to ask Dora, could you please continue where it says, first of all, never ever?
Sure. First of all, never fill up your agenda without any spare times. Leave some spare time on your agenda, especially for transports and restaurant reservations. You will never know what could happen during a trip, both the good and the bad.
Good. I'm going to stop you here for just a moment. Now, when the student said transports in English, we would actually say transportation. But I understood exactly what the student meant when the student used the word transport. Transportation is a collective noun, so it's singular, even though there might be different modes. Like sometimes you might be on a boat, sometimes you might be driving, and other times you might be on a train. We would just say transportation. Fauzia, could you read where it says second when you are planning?
Sure. Second, when you are planning trip for a special ceremony such as a birthday or anniversary, let the airline, hotel, and restaurant know your trip purpose. Usually, they will be more than happy to give you some unexpected surprises. For instance, when I was taking my child to Singapore for his birthday celebration, I emailed the reservation confirmations and the purpose of my visiting to the airline and hotels.
Good. I'm going to pause you here for a moment. So notice the verb tenses the student used. I was taking, I emailed. Oh, shoot. That just brought me away. Okay, I emailed. So that's exactly the verb tenses that we were focused on today. Okay. I emailed the reservation confirmations and the purpose of my visiting to the airline and hotels. So here's where we're at. And Desiree, could you continue where it says the Singapore airline?
Sure. The Singapore airline prepared a lovely little cake and small souvenir for him on the flight. One of the hotels also prepared a cute birthday card and some chocolate. And at the birthday night dinner, he got a special craft cake from the chef. He was so gratified. Well, it's not a guarantee, but it doesn't hurt to try. We could expect the unexpected to add some happiness to your trip.
Good. I'm going to pause you here. So can you imagine this little guy getting these beautiful little surprises, both in the flight and once he gets to the hotel? I think these are awesome travel tips. Now, if you have any kind of inside information, for example, when you take us on your trip, through your native country, if you stayed at a particular hotel, if you have any insider information, for example, you know that the hotel serves croissants in the morning and the croissants are absolutely delicious, let us know because we don't know the little details. And this was kind of just the perfect writing that you might include in a travel blog. Karen, can you begin where it says also about the prices?
Also, about the prices for airlines or hotels. Compare the price directly from airlines or hotels with the price from Expedia and others. In my experience, those third-party companies don't always get the best price because you might get other incentives direct from airlines or hotels.
Perfect. I'm going to pause you here. So this is some great information to include. And this is, now I know not all of us have been travel agents or tour guides, so not all of us have these little insider tips, but for sure you know a lot more about the locales that you're bringing us to than we do. So if there's something along the way to say you're taking us from a restaurant to a park and you know that there's this particular street with beautiful little homes, you could say on your way to let's say Central Park, make sure you drive down 3rd Avenue. You'll see beautiful little homes or something like that. I'm going to ask Elena, could you continue where it says on top of that?
On top of that, compare the price of economic class to upper tier classes. Some airlines call them premium economic or something like that. Yeah, they cost a little bit more, but you might get some privileges, same as all other non-economic classes, such as permission to use VIP lounges at the airport, priority aboard, etc. I hope these tips help have a great trip in the future.
And notice how this student used y'all. You will see that over and over again in social media posts. Y'all. That is actually a contraction of you all, and it's actually kind of like a very southern word to say. If you've ever visited the southeast region of the United States, if you've ever gone down to North Carolina or Alabama or Mississippi, they'll say y'all. They say it, I can't do it right. I love the southern drawl. Has anyone ever heard the southern accent in the US?
No.
I love it. It's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. Now, I'm originally from New Hampshire, the Northeast, so I can't do it. I can't do it. But they'll say things like, y'all, or bless her heart. I just love the way they talk. By the way, I just butchered it, so I didn't help. But that's where that comes from. And you will see it on all the social media posts, like so many of them.
Yeah.
It's fairly new. I've only seen it kind of crop up in the last, I would say, 6 years. It's fairly new and it's trendy. So you might not see it 10 years from now, who knows? At any rate, I wanted to take a look at this post because first of all, I thought there was some great information here. And secondly, this is precisely the type of writing and maybe the types of tips that you can include in your blog to make it a lot more reader friendly. Liz, did you have your hand up?
Yes, I do. I have a question.
Sure.
What the difference between spare time, leisure time, or free time? Is it all the synonyms?
Spare, leisure. So your words were spare time, leisure time, and what was the third?
Free time.
Free. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you can use them interchangeably. When I hear spare time, I just think it's a little bit of extra time that you may not have realized that you were going to have. So for example, I'm going to fly over to the East Coast for spring break because my son's out there and he just bought his first home and I'm going to help him pick out some furniture and stuff. So when I go to the airport, if I get there early, I'm going to have spare time. I'll have spare time to wait. But that's not the same as leisure time or free time. It just means I have a little bit of time before I have to board the plane. When I think of free time and leisure time, that's time that I can dedicate to anything I want, like watching YouTube videos or cross-stitching. Free time and leisure time, those are pretty synonymous, and they mean, for example, most people in the US don't work on Saturdays and Sundays. That's our leisure time. That's our free time. Spare time is when you, let's say you have to punch into work and you left the house, but the traffic was really light. You get to work 10 minutes early. That's like spare time.
It's
Great,
very
I got it.
short time.
Good. Okay. Okay. Good question. Good question. Okay.
Teacher,
Yes.
I have a question. Yeah, do we do the travel blog like a PowerPoint clip, or is the
Well, I'm recommending that you use Google Slides, but you can use PowerPoint if you prefer, if you're more comfortable. Now, I have had students in the past that are really unfamiliar with slideshows, either Google Slides or PowerPoint. And if that's you, don't panic. You can always, to me, the point is to see your writing. So I've had students in the past simply write their travel blog in their inbox. The downside to that is that you might not be able to include pictures. And there is a fun thing about the Google Slides and the PowerPoint slides is that you can make them so zesty. Like they have images and things that you can use, and they have templates. For example, there's a couple of sites, you might already know them. I know I use one called Slides Carnival, and it's really fun. They have free templates, and there are so many beautiful slide templates to choose from. And I just feel like, at least in the past, I feel like doing slides for these blogs really lets students run wild with their creativity, imagination, and their artistic temperament. Like, let's see, education templates. Here you have various education. So this is just an example. And by the way, if you want, I'll link this on our resource page. And there are other free slides places too. It's just a lot of fun because you can be very creative and artistic with slides, which you can't do if you're just writing it in the inbox. However, don't panic if you're not familiar with presentations. You could always just write it in the inbox, or you could upload a document and do it that way.
Yeah.
I really I recommend that you try to use the slides because it's just a lot more fun. Like, just look at these beautiful templates that you could use. There are so many of them. All right, now let me go back to our agenda and make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Oh, okay. Couple of more announcements. Next, our next unit module 4 opens up on Sunday. Now, we will have reviewed all of the verb tenses, so you will have your first grammar test in module 4. You will have a verb tense grammar test in module 4. And after that, we'll be moving on to more sophisticated structures. I believe the first structure we're going to take a look at after your verb tenses grammar test is conjunctive adverbs. But module 4, which opens up on Sunday, contains your first test. Now, the test is timed and you will only be allowed to take it one time. There is a study page before you actually begin your grammar test. There is a study page, and you can kind of test yourself on the study page to see if you're ready for the grammar test. All of the questions on the grammar test are taken from prior assignments. So the assignments in the modules, or perhaps the independent practice pages. And like I said, there will be a practice grammar activity prior to you beginning the grammar test to test your knowledge. And if you don't do so well on the practice activity, you might want to review some of the grammar. And there's a page that will set all of that up for you. I'll kind of take you there now briefly. Let me exit out of student view. And I can tell you too how long the grammar test takes and how many questions there are. Okay, let's go to modules. Okay, so module 4, when it opens, you'll have 4.5. This is an assignment, and this takes you to all of the grammar that you've done during modules 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then this little activity here where it says test yourself will help you practice the grammar to see if you are prepared to take the grammar test. So once you've completed that activity, you'll go to next. and this is your grammar test. Let's see, 90 minutes. So you'll have 90 minutes to take the test, and there are, let's see how many questions. There are 32 questions, so you have 90 minutes to complete the 32 questions. And you'll know if you're ready to take the test or not by doing that little practice activity prior to the test. Oh, wait, am I sharing my screen right now?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
good. Oh, good, because I'm like, ah. All right. So are there any questions?
No.
Okay, so you know what's upcoming in the near future. Your first travel blog post, and then module 4, you'll have your first timed grammar test. And I think, oh yeah, there was one more announcement. Monday, this coming Monday, the 19th of February, we will not have this Zoom class because it is a holiday. Anyone know what holiday?
President Day.
President Day.
That's correct. It's President's Day. So our next Zoom meeting will not occur until next Wednesday, the 21st. So take the time, since you don't have to Zoom with me on Monday, maybe you can take that time to kind of catch up on some of the things that you're missing. I know a lot of you do your work over the weekend. I'm amazed at how late some of you stay up. I'll get up on Sunday morning and I've got all these things to grade, and some of you are up working at like 1 or 2 a.m. I don't know how you do it, but congratulations. That takes a lot of devotion and dedication. And yeah, that brings me to a final point. Are you all able to access your grades and see your videos that suggest revisions?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Now that's where a lot of the learning takes place, is up in the grades with those videos, because that way I can address you personally, whereas in these sessions, I really can't. So please make sure that you submit your work. Otherwise, I can't help you and I can't identify your little grammar points. So make sure you submit your work, and then make sure that you go back and kind of like check the feedback. That's really important.
Teacher.
Yes.
And can you show us when like the others teacher, when I submit I submit an assignment, they show a mark, and I know I did the assignment because you don't show a marker. So
Tian,
yeah.
if you've submitted an assignment, you should have a grade for that assignment within 24 to 48 hours. So are you not seeing your grades? Is that what you're telling me?
I know. I want to know which assignments I did it, because I finished.
Oh, you want to know what assignments you are missing. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
Anybody
some
who
assignment
wants,
I haven't done, so I had to return the on module, and I check what I finished, what I don't.
that is a very good question. So
Yeah,
if you're
thank
not
you.
certain, it's very easy to lose track of the assignments that you've completed and which ones you have not. So
Yes.
anyone with a question about what assignments you have completed and which ones you have not, please
Yeah.
send me a message in the inbox. Once I take a look at that message, I'll go in and view your grades to see what assignments you've submitted and which ones you need to submit. So anyone, not just Tien, but anyone here in this Zoom session, if you have any questions about what assignments you are missing, please send me a message in the inbox. I don't want to take the time and do it individually now during the Zoom session, because not everybody is missing assignments, etc. And I can take more time and do it more thoroughly if you send me a message in the inbox and say, teacher, am I missing any assignments? And I'll look for you. I'll check all of your assignments and see if you're all caught up. Good question.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, everyone. So that's all I have for you today. If you still have questions for me, stay on and I am happy to answer your questions. Otherwise, go and enjoy your Valentine's Day. Enjoy your chocolates, your flowers. And I will
Thank you.
see you next Wednesday, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, teacher.
Yes,
Bye bye,
so much.
Thank you,
teacher.
teacher.
Bye
Bye,
bye,
guys.
Bye-bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye.
Thank
Happy
you.
Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.